My name is Vangelis Vitalis. I am the New Zealand Chief Negotiator for the EU-New Zealand FTA, and I'm speaking to you from the quarantine facilities here in Auckland. And you can see I'm very much on brand in terms of New Zealand's hosting year for APEC. But today I wanted to give you a bit of an update from my other responsibility, which is, of course, is for the EU-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement. The EU-New Zealand Trade Agreement is a critically important negotiation for New Zealand. It is one of the missing elements of our very important relationship that we have with the European Union member states, where, of course, we have a number of shared values and are incredibly like-minded on issues as wide-ranging as climate change and human rights. And we just need to settle the commercial part of the relationship to really complete and ensure that's a fully rounded part of our bilateral engagement between us. To that end, Minister O'Connor and I were in Brussels just under a month ago. The Minister met with his counterparts, both on trade and agriculture, in Brussels, also met with the Belgian Deputy Prime Minister and, of course, the Trade Minister of France during his visit to Paris. Those meetings had two objectives. One was, of course, to build something of a personal relationship, which, of course, has not been possible as a consequence of COVID. But the other substantive objective was to drive forward our negotiations and make progress. I'm very pleased to say that indeed the Minister's visit was successful in terms of advancing the negotiations, and in very practical terms we saw progress in this latest round of negotiations. So in terms of an update on round 11 of the negotiations, which have just concluded today, I had my last session with my counterpart late last night. And we agreed that there has been real momentum this round. We have made significant progress. 3 more chapters are very close to conclusion. Energy, raw materials, competition policy, and telecommunications. Those chapters are now positioned for a rapid conclusion. On goods too, we made good progress. The European Union has moved significantly in terms of a range of horticultural products that are important to New Zealand. There are still some outstanding areas that do need some work by the European Union, but we found areas where we can seek to advance that. I think very importantly too, and I do want to acknowledge the fact that my counterpart, Peter Bouts, joined me in a webinar with stakeholders in New Zealand, and I really appreciated the fact that we had a very lively discussion with a range of stakeholders and indeed treaty partners in that discussion. Lots of tricky questions, thank you very much. Many challenging ones, and a clear indication, I think, of the interests that New Zealanders have in this very important negotiations for both sides. So look, round 11 has concluded. We have made good progress. We can see, both of us, I believe, how we can bring this negotiation to an end. And as our ministers have agreed, the Minister and the Executive Vice President, we do want to bring these negotiations to a close as soon as possible. So thank you again, and I look forward to updating you after our 12th round of negotiations. In the meantime, I can tell you I'm very much looking forward to getting out of quarantine and getting home and having a decent cup of coffee and seeing my family again.